Up, I'm live Monday. Oh joy. But that means that it's time for some more Derail Valley. Isn't that exciting? I've been enjoying playing it as of late, so I'm looking forward to it. And because of last week, well, this past week as a whole, we're going to be restoring not one, but two of the demo units tonight. That will bring me up to 3 restored total. I could technically restore the DM3 as well tonight. I'm not going to do that. I have the parts for it, though. And, yeah, that will leave us with just the DM3 to restore the rest of the way. And the 2 steam locomotives to pick up and restore entirely. I'll get to the steam locos later when I have more money. But I've been doing some stuff off stream. Let's see, if I go over to here, I then, let's see, this one. So this is where we were last week, right? You can see, excuse me, you can see the demo DE6 right there. I did some work off stream, like I said. Made the trip up to the machine factory, and I swear I cannot get past $500,000. Like, I don't know if I've even actually ever had more than $500,000 in this save. I can't remember. But I just kept coming so close to going past it, but not quite. But yeah, this was the trip up after the stream on Tuesday last week. You can see the D6 engine and the DM3 drivetrain components. So they're all good. Picked up an order going back. I don't remember too much about it, but I ended up backing up to coal power and then taking the S through the middle of it to get over to the other side around the top loop and then head down the hill to City South and go from there. And yeah, I think it was just a load or 2 straight to Harbor. Maybe even 3 loads. Probably not, though. No, what it was, now I remember. There was a load going to City South and a load going to Harbor. And so these 2 ended up on the back end, so they were over here when I was loading it up, because this goes towards coal power. They ended up on the back end of the train so that I could just cut off the load and these 2 at City South, drop off the document, and then cut these 2 free of that load so that there wouldn't be anything in regards to that causing issues. I actually backed them up out of the siding a bit as well. And then I just went to Harbor, did my stuff there. While I was up in Machine Factory as well, I picked up demo paint and I think the wireless receiver things. I don't know how I'm going to use them, but I have them at least. I have 2 of them. Like $170,000. It was not cheap. But, you know, that was that. I was just going to leave it there. I even went back to City South to prepare for this week's stream, but I wanted to play more. So I did. Went back to Harbor, and I made a decision. Yeah, there you can see. 169,000. Nice. That was picking up the paint and stuff. I went back to Harbor and decided it was time to retire second DH4. L39 served me well, but it was time to upgrade. So from that to this. With the DE2 still on the back. L10, which has been with me from the very start. So I picked up 3 loads. Yes. Thank you. There you go. Picked up 3 loads. Backmost one was going to Forestry South. This one was going to Sawmill. And then this was going to Machine Factory. So I could basically go up and over, cut down through Forestry, around to Sawmill, and then go up the hill to Machine Factory with this. It paid decently. Finally broke 500,000. Remember, I was like 200,000 down before compared to this, so $200,000 less. So, alright, I'm here. Do I want to buy some more stuff? Well, yes, actually, I will, because city buses. They're just so good. They're lightweight, they're not that long, but they pay so damn much. So, yeah, I picked up some more stuff, and I was just going to take this back. And I was actually, I don't remember what the next screenshot is, so I'm just going to explain this now. I was going to do the same thing I had done before, back into coal power, and then snake through to turn around and go back. But I misread the signal, and I continued past coal power. So I got on the brakes, and I thought, you know what, why am I doing this? So I released the brakes and just continued the roll down the hill. I'll just turn around at City West. Which I did, but it turns out there was like a 60,000, 70,000. It was, I don't remember. It was somewhere between like $50,000 and $70,000 logistical haul of basically these. But yeah, it was not that little. It was 50,000 plus. I think it was around 50,000 actually. But yeah, that was a fair amount. It was a fair amount of money. So I hooked up to that, and again, it was going to Harbor. Got to Harbor, dropped it off in a siding, dropped this off, and this was like 116 total, which was really nice. And then I noticed a job generated to unload this. Now it was 3 offloads, but whatever. I dealt with it because it was like another 50,000 base. So this was like 72, 73,000 with the bonus unloading it. And I also noticed one of these cars went to the same thing as the logistical haul did before, the same siding. Those cars were already gone, the tanker cars, so somebody came and picked them up real quick, I guess. But yeah, end result, I've got a lot of money now. Oh, this was me picking stuff up for another $175,000 at Machine Factory, and those stacked up nicely. And then something else rained down on top of it and ruined it. I also noticed this. I don't know why this one was different, but I'm guessing it synced up with the one in the DH4 for some reason. Bit odd. There you go. There's a logistical haul. It was $52,000. Just for logistical haul from City West to Harbor and Town. On top of the 77,000 plus for the other one. Like, okay. Yeah, no brainer. Pick it up. So I did all that, and then I had to pay the 30,000 to service everything. That's a DE6 for you. Up in the cost by another 10,000. And this is where we left off. I left off. I know it's dark, but DH4, DE6, DE2. These are the company's trains. This is mine. And we're going to add to that. So I'm going to launch the game now that it's been like 10 minutes. But I wanted to explain what I did off stream, you know? Now I just gotta wait for the game to launch. By the way, still recording at 1440p. It seems to be working. Well, I'm not going to change that. The recordings look so much better now. Because, again, my gameplay itself hasn't changed. I'm still playing at 1440p, but it was being downscaled to 1080p. As in, like, the source was shrunk in OBS to fit the 1080p frame. And that's how it was recorded. So it didn't look good, and then upscaling it back to 1440p after it's already been recorded at a squished 1080p didn't look great. So, game, you gonna capture? Thank you. And yeah, you see where we left off. Yeah. I'm not gonna move away from this if I can make it work, and it seems that I can make it work. I don't know what's changed, but I swear I tried this in the past and it was too much of a lag fest. Maybe it was vanilla GTA that was a lag fest, like GTA Online. That's a possibility. 5M is based on single player, which is a lot lighter to run. So it's not the same, even on 5M. Like vanilla itself, vanilla single player is going to be the best experience, but 5M should still be better than online. Here it is. I will say any Pokemon stuff that I stream that isn't on the Switch is not going to be upscaled to 1440p because all my assets are made for 1080p, and it's not going to benefit anyway. What's the resolution of a 3DS top display? Like 400 by 240? Technically 800 because the 3D-ness of it, stereoscopic 3D, is that what it's called? I think so. Yeah. Technically 800, but really it's only ever 400 that you see on one of my recordings. DE6 is there. DE2 is here. This is what we're working on. Also, it's kind of dark back here. There's a light there, but that's it. Let's see. We'll hook this up so I can put fuel into it. But this is going to get rather expensive. Especially once the DE6 gets involved. 22,000 for the powertrain. Electrical powertrain. Mechanical is another 18,000. Wheels 22.5. It's not cheap. Body is another 26,000. By the way, of course nothing is actually happening yet, but there you go. After servicing and everything, it's 589,000. So, yeah. That's why I'm doing both demo units tonight. Not the DM3, though, because I just don't care about it enough to restore it tonight. I would rather buy licenses. Less than $1,000 for oil. That's not bad, actually. Doesn't need much oil, clearly. Sand costs more than the oil. What the hell? Despite being much cheaper, it just 4 times as much. Funny how that works. Diesel's probably gonna be the most of the three, though. And yeah, sure enough, $2,000. For a total of 92,571. Double check, make sure all of them are actually full, and they are. Alright. There we go. It's restored, except, you know, the paint isn't. But that's fine. Yeah, it wants me to paint it next. I've got a different idea, though. I think what I'm going to do is jump back in this, make sure you're cut in, and just a light boop. You're probably gonna have a handbrake on, right? Yep. Alright, and then this, I'm just gonna cheese it a little. Look, I could get out and do it properly, but I have this option available to me, so why wouldn't I? Did I not flip the levers? That would be why. Like, why the hell is it not moving? Also, I thought about, well, you know, they have amp limiters for trains like this. Couldn't I just throw one in here? I'm pretty sure it only goes down to 4. That might be 4,000, not even 400, so no. Not quite. Alright, and now from here, I will just do it this way because I'm actually close enough to this side to be able to get it to turn properly. I believe that should be the right track if I'd stop hitting the wrong buttons, and it is. Now, this actually has the ability to be paired up. I'm gonna do that. Just about hear it back there. I'm just gonna take it and, right, no independent brake on that. Just slow it down a little bit. That was probably a good enough speed to hit this at, but rather not. Alright. Take it, hook it up. You can even MU it together at this point. Not that it really matters, and I overshot by quite a ways. And then what I can actually do, in theory, I hope this works. You're L60. No, I'll come back to you. You can wait. Ah, you don't want to let me do that. That's annoying. Alright, fine. You probably have your handbrake set. I might be able to reach that if I pull this all the way back. Yeah, just barely. Ready for manual service. Do I have to, like... I'm gonna... Right, you unhooked up there, so I no longer have remote control. Are you being particular about this? No, it's not far enough back. What a nuisance. Like, it's here. It's connected. Just let me do it, game. Look, it's just faster, alright? So we're just going to move the entire consist onto the table. It should fit because of how small this is. I'm going to rotate it over one, put the DE2 over there, and then I'll be able to move this all back sufficiently. That's annoying, though. Alright, that made a clunk, and I've got plenty of room anyway. But... that clunked as though it was... you. As though it was off of the other one and onto the table. Can you move, please? Have to ramp the throttle up very slowly, but need to ramp it up a lot just to get any amount of movement out of it. Okay. That handbrake on you. Technically, I could push it back because there's the paint booth, but spoiler alert, you don't need to be in the paint booth to paint, apparently, so why would I move it all the way back there? Just gonna move that a little bit. Now I can move it back. You know what? I think I just realized why it's not wanting to work. Because I skipped a step. Anybody who knows how this game works knows what I'm talking about. Yep. Forgot to install the parts. Oops. So yeah, I probably could have done it just fine otherwise. Oh, now it's gonna make me... whatever. I know what it's doing. I have to move it out of the zone and then push it back, otherwise it's not gonna work. Just a few things every now and then that this game, the way that it works, that it's annoying. Not the end of the world, just a minor nuisance is all. It's wasting my time, which is why it's so annoying. There it is. Make sure one of the fuel ports comes back far enough so that it actually reaches. I definitely cannot reach to charge this. So, oh, that just went right back where it was. Neat. Alright, you are L20. I want to repair you first, and yeah, this is going to be the big one. Very, very expensive. You know, I said before, 50,000 alone for the electrical powertrain. I said before that I wanted to keep playing last week because I wanted to keep playing. Also, I had about 400,000 monies in my wallet, which was enough to get the parts installed and repair these two locomotives, and that was about it. And don't forget, that's before I made the second trip to the store to purchase, like, all the extra stuff that technically isn't necessary. Not that the wireless transceivers are actually necessary either. But still. So, most of the expenses are already done. You can see multiple things between 40 and 50,000. But don't worry, the diesel will be a lot by itself. Almost 5,000 in oil, over 5,000 in sand, and then good enough. 13,000 in diesel. Yeah, it gets a little bit weird when you try and zoom in alt mode, but anyway, 206,000. It's a fair bit. I'm gonna throw this in on top because why not? Just a little bit more to the point where it's still 206,000. And there it is. Yeah, $20 for the powertrain on the other thing. 25 for the wheels, and that was it. A little nugget over there. Alright. Well, last step, as it said, is to paint them. So let's go get the necessary items for that. There is a shed right here, and you can see I bought some stuff. Lots of solder, a number of different mount types, lots of switches, various different components. Here's the two transceivers, the multiple unit controllers as they're called. I don't know why the logos are moving around, but only on the one. I bought some more different colored flags. Oh, and I bought Reginald's key as well, because I should get the caboose sooner than not. I need to get the amp limiter back, but yeah, you'll notice there's only one overheat protection and only one amp limiter. It's because they're out there already. So I am going to want 4 cans of demonstrator paint, which is $120,000. And then these, which are $2,000, I think, this cans of sand, because they're one-time use. Basically enough for everything that's here and nothing more. Like, enough for one train and that's it, is what I'm trying to say. Kind of ridiculous, honestly. So, take this, click on that, and click and hold, and a little bit later, there you go. I want to be over here. Just going to drop that. Now, each train requires 2 cans because the interior is its own thing. I'm going to turn down my volume during this process because the spraying is annoying. And I will say, technically, yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. I've been denying that thing so many times despite using a DE6 because I want to do it on stream. Technically, I could save money and go with DVRT paint, which is $15,000 a pop instead of $30,000. Wasn't sure if it was working at first, but it worked. But I'm gonna go with the DVRT paint, you know? And besides, it's expensive. But damn if it doesn't look good. You know? Just noticed. Disconnect that. Put it back. Huh? Why are you not there? Go into the interior. Technically, I could save money by not painting this DVRT, or not painting it demo. I could paint it DVRT. But I want to go DVRT. Also, that's the DE6 done. It's now been fully restored. Everything's done on it. So let's go restore the DE2 now with paint. And yeah, it too looks pretty good. Different from the default yellow, that's for sure. Accumulating quite a few cans there. And the interior... Well, I've seen both of the interiors for this, let me say. I like this interior more. The blue. Yeah, I like that. There we go. 3 of the 6 trains are fully repaired. The H4 is out front somewhere, of course. And the DM3, not only recovered, but you can see it just needs to be repaired, refueled, and painted. But again, I'm not doing that now. Because the DM3, as nice as it is, it's also a bit of a pain in the ass. Technically, I could make... I've said this before, but I could probably make a controller specifically for this. Because I have an Arduino from college, and I have some circuit board related stuff. You know, I've got the breadboard, I've got some potentiometers. I could probably make something. I don't know if I have any 3-state switches. I have buttons. I don't even know if I have a 2-state switch. But, yeah. I could do that, but I won't. Because I'm lazy, and I have better things to put my time into. Alright. Well... I guess now just pull these forward and get them hooked back up and go from there. Technically, I don't need to use the nugget for this, but I'm going to. Because why wouldn't I? Yeah, understandable. Bingle. Also, what's up? Making a custom controller for things. It's a cool idea. But doing it properly takes time and money. I kind of have the time, I just don't have the money. Speaking of which, anybody got like 40 bucks? Hey, the 17th is in a few days, and if you pay attention to Discord, 17th the past few months, you know? On brand for me this year. Yeah, I haven't had much need for the H pattern as of late, have we? I mean, the transits. That was it. I honestly should try and find all my circuitry stuff. I'm just calling it circuitry stuff because it's easier that way. Because my Arduino is probably with it. And again, having them around might not be the worst idea. I don't know what I'd do with it all, but I should find it. Ah, neat dingle. Yeah, see? You put the throttle in just a bit too fast and it doesn't roll. Your handbrake is on. Also, it's getting light out, even though we're inside. Buttons and switches that are there, just not wired up. What the hell? That's a design decision, isn't it? Alright, final thing to do here before setting everything up is this. you can just sit over here until the next time you're needed. Alright. Now, wrong way. Typical. Just wait for this to roll around. Actually, let me just consider for a moment, because you're facing the wrong way. Then again, these guys are... Yeah, okay. I want that to be the case, so rotate it this way. And then, I think what I'm going to do is take these over here and move them away so that I can then hook things up. So you've got your handbrake set. I need to recover that and this. Yeah, that's a weird decision, Bingle. Why would you have components that aren't being used? I'm probably gonna repair these over there. Actually, I shouldn't need to. The fine should be fairly minimal. So if anything, I should do this. And stop wearing it. I think I haven't actually paid off the DH4 yet, either. Funnily enough, the red one that I left at Harbor, I think it's still sitting there with fees unpaid on it. It's kind of a shame. I mean, it's not a shame. It's going to be much cheaper running my own trains, but it's kind of a shame because this is the original train that I started out with. This is it. This is the DE2 that began my career in this save. L010. L79 I only just picked up recently, so it's not that big of a deal. But, more importantly, I think it might have been faster to go into the museum than to go all the way over here. But I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this hammer to the DE6. And then bonk and bonk. Take that, take that, take that. There we go. I am done with this DE6 after very little time, and I've reclaimed the bits from it that I want. Yeah, it's a bit faster when you can spam it faster, which my other hand is better at. Yeah. Fees. Okay, it's up to 1,600 on that DH4 down in the harbor, but like, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, I guess, Dingle, it's still wasteful. These are primarily emissions fees or such. There we go. They can be despawned now. And actually, the one down in Harbor is one of these here. Or it is this one, I guess. Missing license? Okay, so it's not that one. There you go. L39. It'll despawn soon enough. As will these two. $93 just to not have to walk over there. That is an option, I guess. Alright, as much as I want to operate the DE6, I think I'm just going to operate this one initially to get it out there, and then I'll do it. Yeah, I'll move it into neutral. There it is. Two more demo units moving out of the museum. I didn't actually grab a screenshot there, but I can grab one later from the recording. After all, it's 1440p. Yeah, I know, it would technically be better to record or to capture it in-game so that it doesn't have the overlay nonsense in it. Who cares? Alright. Let's bring this to a stop. And then I can go through the process of going through the tutorial on that. Cut you out, and just for the moment, turn it off. Very bright in here. Yes, let's do it now. Apply the breaker. And the starter breaker, and the traction motor breaker. Look at the dash light. I'm going to turn that one on. I won't touch this one though. Wipers, not touching. Front light, rear light, brake cutout. Starters and oh, it's so shiny that it looks weird. Wow, that's really shiny. It's shinier than it was on the trailer, that's for sure. Until 2 bar. Yeah, no, it's good. There was a certain DE2 that helped with that, and DE2. Gently apply throttle. Attack increases. Fully apply independent brake. I don't even need to like use the scroll wheel. Yeah. Brake pipe. Yeah. Speedometer. Sander is down there. Set forward position. Sorry. Forward position. Release handbrake. What? Did you set the handbrake on me? Bastard. It was not set before. Release independent brake. I'll just scroll wheel that. Gently engage throttle. And we're moving. Fully apply? That's so wasteful. Yeah. Traction motor temperature. Fuel cut off. There's a dynamic brake here, which is very good. Gets locked out when you're in neutral. Interesting. only a little loud. Yeah, it's got the bell. Wheel slip indicator light is right there. There's your fuel, there's your oil, there's your sand gauge, hidden behind frame brake. Fuel hose sockets are, yeah, surprise, surprise, right there. It's not like I didn't use them already to restore it. And there's another one over there. Oh, those are the ones on the other side of the train. Cool, we're done with this. Anyway, I'm going to go back to this. Start it up. If, you know, if I turn on all the breakers, that is. Handbrake is not set, so we can go backwards. The horn on this isn't as impressive. Hard to keep it at a quieter volume without just manually doing it. Those trains are still there, but they'll despawn eventually, I'm sure. That, or I'm in for a rude awakening coming through here. To be fair, I would just clear them, if need be. They're paid off. They should despawn. Flip the switch, and then take that out, do that, and slowly but surely feed in the throttle to get the train moving. That worked well. Just a little bit. Hook this up and get started with other thing. Yeah, let's go with that. What other things? I don't know. Customization, probably. Got all these parts, which are nowhere near here, admittedly. That was a weird sound. Alright, this is probably going to get unhappy here in a second, but that's fine. Yep. Cut you out. Cut you out. And now it should be much happier. And if I undo that, yeah, everything's fine. Alright, so let's get to customizing, you know? I'm gonna go put this back and put that away. Although, let me look. Does this have a... Yes, it does. I did not want to hop in you, thank you. Huh. It disposed of the cans for me. That's nice. I didn't actually expect it to do that, so one less thing I have to worry about. Let's see. So I've got this stuff. I'm gonna put this back. Let me get this out of the way. So those can actually both be medium mounts. Do I have another medium mount? Is that a medium mount? I think that's a medium mount. Is that the only thing that really needs a large mount? It might be. I want one of them and one of them. Let's see. Make a small angled bracket for you and a medium bracket for you, I believe. Now, obviously, I haven't been to Goods Factory in a while. So, like, the only thing I have from there is the brake temp gauge. So I will need to go back to Goods Factory over here. I'm not going to warp there. But I'll get there when I get there. I think that's it. I'm not going to bother with these right now. Now both of the logos are moving. Slightly. Let's see, I'm going to require 5 things worth. I'm going to need this as well. No need to, you know, take 5 when I can just take 4 and load 1. I should have done the customization in there, but also it's dark in there, so it's honestly probably better that I do this here anyway. Let's see. Okay, let me, put all that out there. And then that leaves me room for all of this. 3 of these I don't need to have in my immediate vicinity. So, like, they could go back here somewhere. You know, I might leave that space for the receiver. I feel like that would be a good spot for it. Put you there. Except, you know, it's wanting to be unreasonable about it. Wheel slip computer could go on top of that. Amp limiter could also go somewhere back here, I guess. I could put it back here, even. That could work. I don't really want to put anything back there. And then the switch setter needs to be over here. iPad, what are you doing? iPad. There you go. Just black screened for a moment. Switch setter needs to be somewhere over here because I'll want it in my view. Not necessarily like immediately in my view, but like up here, perhaps. Not gonna let me actually put it up there. But up there might be a good spot. And then this will obviously be like up here, or maybe I could put it right here, even. I don't really want to put it right there. So I have a couple of options. It is supposedly time for a break though, and yeah, checks out. Let's see. I'm just gonna mock this up. Let's see if I put one. Precise movement is hard. I just wanted to do this really quick. Still imbalanced. Cannot get it to not be offset to one side or the other. That's like the closest I've gotten thus far. Right around there. Not perfect, but it's good enough. And with that, I'm gonna save it. Setting, display, frame limiter, 5 FPS, just to reduce GPU load while I'm not playing the game actively. And AFK scene, which, yeah, it still works. Some things are maybe a little oddly placed. Could be placed better, but rescaling things is not fun. So it just is what it is. But yeah, I'm just going to take a few minutes to stand up, stretch, and get away from the computer for a little break. You misspelled that, Dingle. Good job. Technically, you misspelled that twice over, but most people, well, many people will spell "your" that way, so whatever. Just going to take a few minutes, stand up, stretch, and get away from the computer for a little bit. During this time, I am going to run some ads. It's the only time during the stream that I run ads. Prevents pre-rolls for the next hour. Blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. If you're a sub, you shouldn't see ads, nor a Twitch Turbo user. But, you know how Twitch can be sometimes. Anyway, when I get back, the ads will be done, which is important, but... yeah, almost, Dingle. The ads will be done, and we'll continue with customizing the trains. I do plan on doing a run tonight, but the next hour might be at least partially spent upgrading the DE6 and the DE2. Again, I'm missing like the speedometer and the brake readout and such, but good enough for now. I'll get to Goods Factory at some point soon, I'm sure. Yeah. BRB. Alrighty, I am back, and let's just jump right back into it, shall we? Set it to VSync so I can easily adjust it, because 5 FPS is brutal. And let's get back up where we left off. They're on there, probably, so that would go there. And yeah, that would go right above it. I might put that one a little bit higher. Yeah. And then you, again. Good enough? Yeah. Good enough. You know what? No, I'm just gonna do this. Oh, and it started raining. How wonderful. Drill. Hey, you want a little sneak peek of it? How bad it is? Yeah. You don't have to listen to it, and I'm listening to it at a reduced volume, so it's not that bad anymore. Alright. Those dealt with. That is those dealt with. Yeah. Technically could have done more with that, but whatever. You should be set to... is it 105? Yes. And the amp limiter is 12 when it goes into the red. Already set that way. And that was already set as well. That just works. I gotta wire them all in, but I'll do that in a moment. You, again, I think just putting you there is fine. Hey, evil. I could move that a little bit further down. Yeah, that works. No deafening audio for you, and I've still got my volume turned down. Gonna have to do that 2 more times when I put that in place. But now I gotta figure out where I want it, because I don't necessarily want it right there. Will I just do that again? 6.5 million? Jesus, evil. That's a lot. In a good way, obviously. You know, do I even need the angled bracket? Because, like, I feel like a small bracket non-angled will be sufficient. Also, noisy in here. Yay, tin roof. Come on. The yield is what got it up that high. Well, that's good. Like, if I just put one there. No. Fair enough. I tried. Can I put it, like, right... I had an idea. What if I stuck it right there? I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. Right, evil. It's still rather loud all the way over there, isn't it? No. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. Well, I thought it would have been far enough forward there. Clearly not. I should have seen that, but I didn't. I'm gonna want you and you. Fortunately, it's as if nothing ever happened. That said, let's try that again, just further forward this time. Okay, now it's blue, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's probably fine. Let's do this nonsense again. Again, save you guys the displeasure of hearing the drill. Yeah. And it's not hovering too badly. It's a little far to the right as a result, but that's good enough. You know, it's fine. I think I would have had to put the mount over there to get it centered the way I would have rather had it, I guess, but more effort than it's worth. I already messed it up once. So, good enough. Yeah, I'm sure that's perfectly fine. Just gotta solder everything together. Also, I believe if you look at this, this is 13 meters. This is 18 meters, and this is 7.5 meters. Round it up, and 40. Good enough. I'm just gonna solder things in from over here. Be efficient, you know? Of course, I can't actually reach the ammeter, or amp limiter, rather. Or can I? That's just silly. Take all this trash. Yeah, everything's set up and working. Now let's do this again for the DE2, because overheat and amp limiting, definitely one on that thing. That thing loves to push too hard if you let it. Did it just... Like, I feel like there should be one that got placed somewhere, but whatever. Don't care. Don't care. Seems good enough. That's the console. I am going to put this down there. You down. I think you were over here. There's something else that went down here? No. That was just empty space, I guess. So I'm gonna want this, 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 and this. Yes, all 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1 medium mount left now. And I'll keep that with me, just in case I decide that that's better to use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, I do have headlights. I'll maybe mount them tonight, maybe not. I don't know, we'll see. It's a lot quieter out here. Whoops, overshot. Alright, so overheat protection. Well, let's get anti-wheel slip down, because that one is massive. That can go right there. Overheat protection just about fits. That can go there. And then amp limiter, I mean, got my caps lock out of sync. Amp limiter could in theory go like right there. You know? Like just have the 3 of them there where they don't need to be accessed as readily. Why not, right? That's a more reasonable height level. Just trying to think for these two, cause since it's not as straightforward. I don't have to put them over here, obviously. I could put them back here. But I think I will put them here. Stack them over there for the moment. Ease out. Yeah, you're not gonna do it unless I actually place it properly. Yeah, that fits. Is it square to the thing? Not really. Yeah, haven't you ever seen square bales, Evil? That's totally correct. Yeah, plenty of room. In fact, I could even afford to, like, move it over a little bit. And then you be like that, more or less. Alright, time for this. Once again, game audio is muted for your guys' sake, so you don't have to hear it. I can just hold it down. That's nice. It's like CMS, Car Mechanic Sim. Just hold the button down and it'll auto do it once you have the right upgrade to, you know, 1 click. Bolt. That's nice. But you there, you there, you there, and there's even a little bit of room there for nothing, probably. I kind of wish I'd put that down further, but whatever. So reduce your 105. You can go there, put it to reduce. You probably need to be relatively low. Like 950, so limit you to 8. Good enough. And anti-wheel slip doesn't need setting. It's just there. What do I want to do with this? I'm not sure it would fit there. Could be able to try. If I was to sneak it there, not enough space. If I just like, sneak it right there, not enough space. What if I had one of these? Other way around. If I put that there, how does that look? Not good, because it wants to put it in a really annoying orientation. Also, yeah, I started cycling it through. I think that's right. Yeah, because the antenna's on the right. Huh. Can you stop offsetting it in such a stupid way? Please. Like, if it would actually mount it to the bottom instead of the middle of it, it would be fine. There's not really a good spot to put it otherwise. I mean, I guess I could do this. That's a medium mount. No. That's a bit silly, considering the antenna's on that side, but that might be the one way to make it work. Or what if I did this? Give me a break. Like that, maybe? Right there. Not great, not terrible. Where is that 1 pixel, seemingly, where it works? Right there. Yeah, I mean, it blocks the view a little bit, but guess that'll work. And then you... just that, I guess. I think that's right. They really need to put arrows on those models so that it's easy to tell which way is which. Oh, I can just do this. I think you can do this with CMS as well. At least you could in one of the older versions. Except I didn't have it lined up there. That's a nice little feature. Unintended, probably. That's fine. That goes there. Not enough space. How is there not enough space? You're clipping through the back. Because... I see. There's a tiny little curve right there, so if I mounted it slightly higher, it would be fine. I put that shit away, didn't I? God damn. Drop it. Don't place it, otherwise it's going to be stuck here. Where the hell did that go? Gonna be fun to find. Fortunately, it seems like the caulk gun here, hole filler gun, they just call it the filler gun, seems like it has unlimited uses, so that's nice at least. There you are. If I place it further up, it should be fine. What do you mean, not enough space? How is there not enough space? That, will it work? No, it only wants to place in that way. Okay, what if I just place it there? Still got not enough space, me. Actually did that. Yes, I want the drill. What an annoying thing to deal with. There. Again, what an annoying process. Alright, now we solder things in. And I'm once again going to be efficient and just rotate instead of actually moving around. Now, I will say, I probably don't need to do most of this, because I'm just going to be shunting around the yard with this. That's the only purpose the DE2 serves. Well, that and remote control if I go DE2 only, or DE6 only, for other things, or, yeah, in the future. Which I probably will do. That looks slightly crooked to me, it probably is. Whatever, I cannot be bothered to try and line it up properly, it's good enough. So, having certain things is actually really useful for shunting, like distance tracker. If I want to actually try and keep track of how long the load is, that can be useful. Switch setter is useful, which, as a side note, need to bump that out. Automatic, and I actually like mine in absolute. Amp limiter again in this, with how quickly it tends to ramp up the amperages. Really, I should limit it to like 600. Honestly, in this, I'll limit it to 600. Overheat protection, not a terrible idea in this, and then the anti-wheel slip computer, But with how the DE2 is, not bad things to have. Also, you crank the distance to the max and set you to absolute. It's tempting to get the slug out again. Oh, it's just gone. I did that again. Oh well. If it got placed into the ground, then it'll be despawned with time. That's probably what went in there, the hand drill. Put that there, and anything else? I'll leave the headlights. I just want to get training again. So you might have noticed them, there were a couple of jobs left in the station. And there are two in particular, because there's these 3 shunting jobs, which... And there's only one that's going anywhere, and I don't feel like going to the sawmill. I could, but meh. Then there's these 2. Deliver fish to City West and Machine Factory in town. Not bad, if you ask me. It's nothing fantastic, but both of these drops should be pretty easy to do. And, you know, City West is on the way to Machine Factory. I think I want to take these. What? Why are you doing that? You're in C30 and you're in C10. Okay. However, there's something I want to do first. No fees here. By the way, have trains despawned? No. Licenses. I think it's about time I buy some more licenses. Obviously, the 2 steam engine licenses I could get, but I don't have a ton of money. We'll see how much I actually get here. I could bankrupt myself and buy everything. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'll wait to do that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is risky, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy Hazmat 2. Which, lots of copay and then rip time bonus a little bit. But I'm gonna come down Military 1, which is not cheap. More copay rip, but Military 2 I'll also do. It's not too much more, but yeah. 6,900 ain't a ton. But there we go. There's the 2 Steam licenses, and then Hazmat 3 and Military 3, which I think more or less go hand in hand. It's going to be another 700,000. Ouch. I've just been throwing stuff into here. There we go. I finally have access to the military bases around the map. Good enough. So Sea Yard is this one. I do have a through path. Although, what a nuisance. $169, $183, of course. Do you think from here to the end is 130? Well, actually 220 meters? I don't think so. So what I'm... Wow, what a nuisance. Alright. Yeah, the sea yard is a pain. Also, I am just going to do this, because they are going to get in the way. So long, L10 and L79 as well. A bit of a shame, but in my damn train. Shame, but that's how it goes. Because again, all demo units. Love to see it. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into there, and then I'm going to back up the City West load, which is in C3I. I'm going to back it up past this switch. And then I'm going to go back, connect up to that one, and back it all up into that, and then back up the rest of the way. Because that's more or less what I have to do. There we go. Also, there is a slope here, so be mindful of that with your traction motor-based vehicles. Good way to trip the breaker on a traction motor, or just blow the traction motor entirely. Noise. Noise. Okay, I was a little early on that, but still, it was there. I still prefer to use this one as my main vehicle, lead vehicle, because it's the one that's got the lights, it's got the speedometer, the clinometer, which I could honestly just move, but I don't have another one of those angled brackets. It's got that, it's got the clock, which is something. So 170 plus 180 is 350. So just shy of 400 meters total. Also, pair loco with this. So just re-verify, the one that's going to Machine Factory in town is in C30. So I want to deal with the one that's going to City West, which should actually be the one that's in this hand. Because I want the first job that I want to drop to be in this position. Because that's where I'm used to it being. So this one I don't want to touch. I want to do this one. C30. No, this one I don't want to touch. I want to touch this one, C10, because that's the one that is going to be on the back of the consist. So I need that. Oop, independent brake. What? Let me stand down there. So again, we're just going to push this back past the switch back there so that I can then hook up to this and push it into this consist. Annoying, but that's just the limitations of this yard because there's no through track beyond here, right? This is just a dead end. If this connected back in, which it honestly should... Bud. Oh. Stop pushing it. Also, yeah, the brake is set, but it was still pushing regardless. Don't worry about it. Good, handbrake is here. I want a yellow flag, sure. Yeah, I realize that the red flags are a little bit hard to see. So... not that that's fantastic, honestly. Whatever. It's still filling it up, that's why. Very, very slowly filling it up. Oh, well. Unsetting the brake would also help. How heavy is this? It's not that heavy. Oh, 600 tons. And this one's 550. So, yeah, we'll be needing the DE6. Might honestly be able to get away with just the DE6, though. Did not want to go inside like that. That does explain why this was struggling so much. We're gonna want to be behind this switch up here. Alright, and then you are beyond the switch. Okay. We'll go this way. What time is it? Almost 6 o'clock? Alright, we're gonna be going into the nighttime then. What's the forecast while I'm thinking about it? Rain after midnight. Only a little bit and then it picks up later. Okay. Not great. Not terrible. That jumped up a lot faster than I expected it to. Not a lot of notches on the independent brake, apparently. Right. Independent brake. Don't have to back up too fast, and yeah, that sound's gonna get old quick, but it's just too useful of a utility. I didn't think I would like it at first, but it does come in handy sometimes. Oh. And again, at some point I intend to retire the DH4, essentially. At least from regular service. And just switch over to DE6s with the DE2 on the end. But that's a little ways off. I gotta let my wallet recover first. Oh, give me... Alright, you're good to go. So let me release this handbrake. I'm gonna listen for the brake pipe to stop filling. Get away with that much without wheel spinning? Yes, but seemed like it was rolling forward there, and it probably was a little bit, because there is a bit of a slope here. Unevenness in the yard. Not that bad, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's enough of a slope here to get it rolling. It was rolling the wrong way, which was problematic. Good. Still close enough. Alright, and now I can actually go all the way back here. You should be able to do this, because it's a very minor slope. I don't like using sand like that. It's just simply not necessary. Which is why I still should consider putting that on a switch. It's very heavy, this. And more than long enough to have gone right through the D2 and D6 that were back there originally. Yeah, slightly overheating, but it's fine. Set that back to being a straight through for the future. Alright, I'm going to shut this locomotive down. Because again, it's just simply not going to be the one that I want to use. Also flip that around. Probably actually will want... fuck's sake. You set that way, you set that way. Because then I can go straight through here, pick right, and continue on. Yep. And then from there, we go up through Coal Mine South. We stay left there. Yeah, I could go through Farm and Oil Well Central, but I'm good as is. Right, left, right. We'll get to City West in a second, and then straight up north to Machine Factory. City West, we'll want to go to the Sea Yard, so... yeah, I'm gonna go right, and then we'll back in here. So that's a right, and a right. And it's C3I. So left, right, left, straight into C3I. And then I'll be able to go straight up the hill to C4I in Machine Factory. Let me just make sure coal power is set properly. That's set to the left, that's set to the right, good. I want to go down to C. And again, C4I, I believe it was, so we're going all the way down to the right to C4I. Alright. That is, I think, everything set for the journey. Are there fees? No fees here. Because they're my trains. Well, certainly want to get out there before the rain hits. Might have to fire up the DH4, but hopefully it won't be necessary. Anyway, there's not really any sense in starting the trip for 3 minutes. You know, I could validate the orders and then send it, but we're not even going to get to the junction that leads to Coal Mine South. So I'm just going to do this. Apparently we're in the same scene because that's what the randomization decided. It's a 1 in 3 chance in theory. None of the options should be biased versus the others, but whatever. That's randomness for you. If it's truly random, then it will just do whatever it wants. It's not truly random, it's pseudo-random because it's a computer. You know. Anyway, gonna start the break this time just a little bit earlier than normal. Only a few minutes. But again, it just doesn't make any sense to keep playing and, well, just get started to immediately stop, basically. Also, 5 FPS. So I'm just going to take a few minutes now to stand up, stretch, and get away from the computer for a little bit. During this time, I am going to run some ads. It's the only time during the stream that I run ads. Prevents pre-rolls for next hour, blah, 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 blah. The ads will be over by the time I get back. And, yeah, we'll continue. Well, we'll actually get started with this job, these 2 jobs. And I should easily be able to complete them in the next hour. I'm not even starting from Harbor, after all, so I don't have to deal with that climb out of there. Yeah, I guess that's it. So, Kirby? Alrighty, I am back, and let's get back to it and get this, get these orders started. Delivery started. My frame rate back to what it was. You. You. Not great, not terrible on the income from this job, but it'll do for now. I'm gonna want to get on the other side of this so that I can start it up. There we go. Gonna cut you in and cut you out. And there's still a handbrake set, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna regret not setting up the extra lights on this, aren't I? Anyway, we're going to drop this off. So let us go. It's that. Yeah, so the amp limiter is going to be kicking in if I'm not careful. I just did my normal 3 notches of throttle because I'm so used to the DH4. That does not work on this. Let's see. I am going to actually want City West set up so I can flip this switch easily. I'm just getting started with the delivery. That's what. I'm gonna push that. Alright, there we go on that. And, are we out of the... Yeah, we're out of the tunnel. Would you, like, change gears or something? Does that have gears to change? Because it kind of cut out there for a second and then came back. I just want to verify the length of this consist, so when I see that about to go off, I'm gonna pop into third person and see where it is. And yeah, it's about where I set it to be. So, good. That's accurate enough. Yeah, I'll really be wishing at some point along this that I've set up the extra lights. I can get away without them, but like, I have them. There's no reason not for me to set up extra lights up top or in front somewhere that pan out further. Other than just, let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. That's the reasoning why. Let's just get going. So I can, you know, get money back. Probably should have held off on buying the licenses, but I just want to do it. I just wanted to get it done, you know? The speed should be fine through here. And again, the weight should be within the DE6's capabilities. The only thing is the DH4 and the DE2 are being lugged around as well. So if we get to a 2% plus grade, it might actually not be enough. But for now, at least, it's sufficient. I didn't hear the amp limiter kick in. So that's something. It still hasn't kicked in. And that's full throttle. And we're gaining speed. Limited to a 50 at the moment. Yeah, I've really got to get a feel for this, and ideally I would be in here so I can actually, you know, see. But with not having been to the goods factory as of late, I just don't have quite everything I want, and we'll get there. We'll get to exclusively DE6 plus a DE2 on the back for remote and shunting reasons at some point in the near future, but for now, this is what we got. Now, this is definitely not the fastest trip ever, but I've got 89 minutes just to get to City West, and 121 minutes to get to Machine Factory. Hey, guess what? I'm not going to be streaming in 121 minutes. I plan on wrapping up in a little under 55 minutes. Somewhere around there. And we'll be to Machine Factory by then regardless. That's not a problem. Also, the heat was building in the DE6, but it's got so much cooling that it's yet to overheat in the slightest. Again, I'm full throttle. Can't go any more aggressive on it, and it's taking it like a champ. Also using a ton of fuel, I'm sure. So be it. I don't remember what the speed into the junction up ahead is, but it can't be slower than 30. Or rather, I should say it's not slower than 30. Yeah, I'll take you. Coal mine south. How are we set up? Could be right, then a left, then a left. Yeah, okay. You know, in theory, I could continue along this path, but I'm going to want to get up at some point, and going all the way to Sawmill, not very efficient. Here, I'll just pan the camera over this way so we can see where we're going, even though it doesn't really matter. Going up here, I guess, would be fine. There's no harm in that. The problem is this junction. I think it's a 3 this way, but it's a 2 towards Forest South, and I'm not touching that, that's for sure. Just remember, I've got a clip, a semi-recent clip of me going through this corner, and yeah, I don't care to revisit that anytime soon. Also, the trains at Harbor have officially despawned, meaning that the DH4 that was down there is finally gone. And obviously I forcibly despawned the DE6 and DE2 from earlier. Thank you for your service, L10. You served me well from the very beginning. Which is not quite 64 hours, probably. But still, very useful to me for the time that I had it. And that was the starting train that I had, L10. But I've got my own now, so it doesn't matter. There's a bit of a downhill slope there, so I'm just gonna give the train a bit of a break. Not to mention, this is a 5. Okay. Yeah, if I need to use the brakes, just dynamic brake it. DE6 can tank it. But with this curve, probably we'll be losing speed rather than gaining it, even with a bit of a slope behind us. save a little bit of fuel while I can, you know? This is where those extra lights would come in handy. I want to see around the corner, except I can't because there's no lights pointing over that way. I gotta wait until this one pans over with the train. It's a minor thing, but it's why I have those headlights waiting to be installed. So I can do that. Yeah, I'm not going through the yard because I believe that that yard doesn't have a clear way through. So I'll instead go through this one, which is clear. And if it's not, no, but it is. Yeah, it looks a bit full up over there. There's an 060 right there. Is that an 060? No, it's a 282. Yeah, I don't know that there was a clear path through there, which is why you don't go through there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be going any faster through there. Fairly straight track, though, ahead of us. At least that's how it appears. Bit of a decline there, though. Again, don't need to use the throttle. Just keep it coasting. I'm in no rush, so I don't need to go stupid fast. Hello. Yeah, see, and the speed's picking up after all. Literally no reason to give it throttle right now. Like I said before, I'm wrapping up at the top of the hour. There or thereabouts, and this is already over that. And this is over 2 hours, so... yeah, no, we got plenty of time to get where we're going. Don't need to be super efficient about the time it takes. Oh. Yeah, having the DE6 definitely nice. Finally, I just wish it didn't take so damn long to find it. That's the most annoying thing. It was so obvious if you looked at just the right time, and somehow I never looked at just the right time, so I kept missing it. Right out in the front of Coal Power. I was so focused on looking further back into the place. Oh well, got it now. Just getting started with the DH4 now. It's a very competent vehicle. Very nice to use, and the one thing I do like about it compared to like the DE6 and the DE2 is, you know, when you're going from a stop, you can just straight into it. You know, straight into the throttle. Because it can just deal with that with the way it's set up. I really like that about it. Versus the two diesel electrics, you gotta ease into the throttle, otherwise you go over the amp limits on them. Just get wheel spin for days. There was a third sound there as well, a third buzzer, but I don't think we can quite hear it all the way back here. A bit hard to see, but yeah, if you can see through the trees. Got all three, hold on, that's a 5, we're good. All three demos, DH4, DE6, and DE2. Only the DE6 is running right now, of course, because don't need anything else. Of course, I can just go straight full throttle on the DE6 now, but we're already rolling. But yeah, the DH4 is a massive upgrade from the DE2. It's a bit thirsty, and it ain't cheap to maintain, but it is very competent. Just coming to the overpass here. I can afford to back out of the throttle at this point. Bit of a downhill grade here. Need to use 3 DE2s to go for a bigger train. Yeah, fair. Absolutely fair. And switching to the S2A2 instead of the DH4, that's also fair if you're willing to do the Steam stuff. I personally am putting Steam off for a while. I think I'm fine, but I'm just going to slow down a little bit so that I'm not overspeeding in case there was a 50 somewhere that I forgot about. I think I'm good, but just gonna try and keep the speed down a little bit. And actually, what do you know? Perfect timing on that. If there wasn't a 50 before, there sure is now. Yep, that is definitely a 50 kph turn right there. Oh, it's going to 4. Okay. Brakes. At least that one's got a bit of a warning on it. You know, you got a little bit of distance to get the speed down. You know, we should be... But yeah, the Steam stuff I'll get into eventually. I know where the 2 demos are, so I'll recover them eventually and play around with them a little bit, but my main focus is DE6 at this point. I just want to make money so I can buy the rest of the licenses, get the demos restored, and then have a little bit of money for later. Future updates. First time steamed up in 50 to 60 years. Wow. That's cool. It is nice to see them still being used to some degree. Even if they're not being used properly, you know, they're not being used for industry purposes. It's still neat to see those older trains get out and about from time to time. I think I want to keep on it because we're coming up to a corner here. And I think this is actually a 3 up ahead. Oh, neat. Yeah, I mean, then that's a good use of it, I'd say. Very nice. Yep. 3 either way you go. Can I maintain with just dynamic brake? Yes, so much so that I don't even need it fully. I kept hitting independent brake down instead of dynamic brake down. Just disable it. I don't know that it's needed at all right now, especially with the curve. Apparently I can get some speed into it even, because yeah, it's leveled out and the curves are actually slowing it down if anything. Not speeding it up. How far back's the train? Still at the beginning of the curve. As you'd expect. I'll keep it below 30 for a little bit yet. Not too concerned about going fast, especially when City West is just down the tracks. And that's a 30, plus I'm stopping to drop this off. Well, I want to be slowing down after the curve anyway. I think at this point it should be through fully. I try not to abuse the free cam too much, but yeah, it's back there. Something was weird there getting back in the cabin. Uh-huh. Oh, cool. Lots of big steam engines then. Well. Yeah. I'm not super familiar with that side of things, but yeah, that's cool that they're all being used for that reason, that purpose. Again, like I said, any time that they can get pulled out and used for something worthwhile is always good. And yeah, that's for the anniversary. That's a good use of it. Gonna be a sight to see, I'm sure. Yeah, that's another reason to ditch the DH4 sooner than not, so I stop hearing the double switch setter buzz. It's not that I want to get rid of the DH4, it just holds the DE6 back a bit. And right now it's just dead weight. But it has all my gadgets in it. I have some in the DE6, but missing some. That should be slow enough. It'll be slow enough. It'll slow itself down through the curve, so 32 should be fine, and it is. Surprise, surprise. Almost like I've been through here enough that I actually know more or less what I'm doing. Yeah, no, you can't if you you try and pair it with this. Doesn't like it. But that's honestly part of why I've got the DE2 back here. Because when I do inevitably ditch the DE6 or the DH4, the DE2 does support the remote, and it's nice to have for shunting since the DE6 is obviously a little bit on the big side. DH4 would also be decent for shunting, but it's more expensive to run is all. Yeah, no, that's the one problem, isn't it? So much rail in this country is owned by industry. Not a problem per se, but when you want to do passenger services of any sort, whether it's for celebration purposes or commuter services, you end up with that issue. But that starts creeping into topics that I'd rather not get into, frankly. Yeah, that's the problem. Be nice if the US rail system was a bit better overall. But it is what it is. Let's just double check. This is going into C3I. So we are set to go to the right, and the right. And then in C, we're going to left, right, left, into C3I. Good. Last time I was here, I actually picked up a large consist of tankers going to harbor. Made a decent amount more money as a result of that. Something like that, except it was going to harbor and it was like 52,000 instead of 9,000. Yeah, there's not a lot good here. By the way, definitely not advisable to leave your train rolling unattended. I'm just stupid like that. Oh, that's a shame. Yep. Also, as a reminder, the sidings start where the switch ends, so probably right around there. The entire track, not just this sign back. The sign's a good point of reference, though. And you should always be careful not to leave it too far forward, even if it's not conflicting with the switch, because then you risk having issues with, you know, tracks to the side. I'm gonna start scrubbing off speed. I don't know exactly where I need to cut it. There's the flag. Don't forget handbrake. And just before I run off, yep, we are good. That is a building. Make it right at the intersection and then go over here. At 89 minutes, took 28. 42,000. Very nice. I have a bit of money in my wallet again. Only I had that much in my wallet IRL. Well, okay, I wouldn't actually want 49,000 in my wallet, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think my wallet's big enough for that much. I'm trying to remember where the damn store is. Oh, right, it's over here. Right here. I'm here. I've already picked that key up. I don't think I need anything from here. Out slanted medium. I don't think I want slanted mediums. I want slanted smalls, though I guess I could do that. Is there anything else? Buy more solder. You can never have enough solder in this game. More medium plates as well. I was a little low on them. I think that's it. That's green. I didn't have the light bars, so I didn't mount them earlier. I do want them. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really care for the beacons. Swivel lights are annoying. They're cool. It's nice that they have them. But they're annoying. They were kind of stacked there for, well, 2 times over. And then the light bars show up. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Alright, you. If I cannot hit extra keys. No, all the way off. Buy out the town's entire stock. I don't have the money for that. Or I get run over by the train. Let's try not to abuse the amp limiter too bad, because obviously I could just do this. And it's just restricting the amps the entire time. But it's probably better that I don't abuse that fact too much. Also, at this point, honestly, put you there. Do I even need to use the DE6? I mean, have you seen the prices on stuff in the stores? Genuinely, I could not afford to buy out the entire store. Plus, the game will limit me at a point. It's a funny idea, but license costs. Yeah, you know what? There we go. It's 552 tons, plus the weight of the D6 and D2. Could be fine. Also, I think I want to take that much out of it? Yeah, 210 is right. Because it's about 40 for the trains, plus 170 here. Hyperinflation to its doom. I mean, given the prices, it sounds about right. There's the rain. I can get more speed out of this. Come on, DH4. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the prices are kind of ridiculous. The fact that it cost me $120,000 to buy 4 cans of paint. What? I mean, yes, it is derail time, but it's not time to derail, RB. I pressed G, you jerk. Yeah, that's the other thing. RB's here. Oh joy. Well, hey, Dingle, at least you have company in the can't spell words correctly department. The DH4 should be enough. More B's here. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that, no Upone. I keep forgetting that I have the closed caption stuff set up. Because, like, it's one of those things that I enabled it. I installed the plugin, I enabled it. I think it required a plugin. And just have left it, you know, it's a set it and forget it sort of thing. So I always forget that it's running, and people bring it up like, wait, what? Oh, right. It's nice that it still works, though. Like, I can't remember how long ago I installed that, got it set up, but it's still, yeah. I can actually see, no, OBS has its own thing, but then there's the closed captions that I'm actually using, and now I can see what you guys are seeing. Praising evil, I guess. Praising? No, not Yep. I said freezing, and it went for praising and then freezing. Yeah, you can tell, can't you, Dingle? And that was just all freezing there. What's an EJ? Never heard of him. Or it. Funny that it capitalized EJ properly, seemingly. Good on you, I guess. Bad at capitalizing the first word in a sentence, though. And you missed its. But you got... Oh my god. I'm closing this because I'm just getting distracted by it now. Granted, this route, the way that it is, it doesn't really matter. Also, I'm turning off my high beams. Because rain was getting annoying. Honestly, with that like that, I don't really need the wipers. Get summoned by shuttles in Guinness. And sometimes cool cars, though. What exactly is cool is questionable sometimes. Game's pretty cool in VR? Yeah, I'm sure it is. In theory, I could run it in VR, but that would require a VR headset, which, like I have the budget for that. Or construction equipment. Yeah, that too. Someday, maybe, with the VR stuff. But for now, at least, this works better for the stream, in a way. Getting wheel slip. Not that surprising, I guess. Don't make me get out there and start the damn D6. What, do you not want to start for some reason? Like, what the hell? There we go. Alright, a little bit less throttle. Yeah, that's fair enough. Dingle. I mean, my main use of VR would be for racing. Probably when I get the amps up too high, that's when it would start wheel spinning, so just slowly ease into it. Nice, evil. I'm not sure he does, though. Nope. And the reason why I want to put you on a switch is because you turn on for too damn long, in my opinion. Sometimes? A brain cell, maybe, I could understand, but a whole brain? You? That's a real surprise. was too much. We're almost to the top of the climb, it's fine. If I was really concerned about things, I would just start the DH4 as well. Oh, give me a break. You're really gonna struggle this much. I know it's heavy, but it's not even 600 tons. Nope. Stop wasting so much sand. I mean, it's not the most expensive resource in the game, but still. We got 2/3 of the field to go. Evil, do you have to harvest that manually or something, or do you just got a really big field? Or multiple fields. That's also an option. I'm gonna assume that's 33 hectares, because I don't know what unit that would be otherwise. Yeah, I don't have a good frame of reference for that. It's a decent amount. That's all I know for sure. Also, can you tell we're on more or less flat ground now? It's not having issues. Because we got up to 30. I'm not on the train anymore. Stop moving me like I am. Yeah, at some point I should try playing the farming sim games again. I don't know. I have 22, I just tried playing it and wasn't enjoying it enough to continue. Largest field on a 4 kilometer by 4 kilometer map. Cool. That handbrake. Kill motor. And drop job. 43 minutes. For 52,000. Not terrible. And fees are non-existent. Granted, if I went to service this, it could potentially cost upward of 30,000. But we're good enough on fuel and such for the time being. Yeah, brake pipes complaining because that. Also, I just realized there was a while there where I was cut in on the DE6 and not on this, but I was using this and not the DE6. That could have been bad if I actually had to use the brakes at any point. But that didn't happen. I'm just going to place these here, out of the way. You gonna fit in on the edge? About? Just about. If I can get into just the right spot, it's gonna spin it around the wrong way, of course. There's a plant that is, or a bush or something that's poking into the side of the building, if you're wondering what the hell that was. Make sure to drop it and to not place it, because otherwise it's going to be left behind in this particular shop, most likely. I don't know that for a fact, but 79.4 acres. Okay, I have a better reference for how big that is, and yeah, that's a fair amount. That's a large property. Okay, yeah, no, My father used to own about 14 acres. Considering how big that was, yeah, 80 is a lot. Will I need this much solder? I don't know. Possibly. But just remember, I've got 4 lights plus the dimmer switch. I've got those things, and then I've got 2 speedometers, 2 brake meters, probably 2 clocks. Manometers don't need wiring in. And possibly more switches for other things, like... Plus, if I want to upgrade the DM3 or the steam engines, very quickly that starts getting higher. So that's a drop off. That's too much effort for 23,000, and same thing there. 3 drop offs. Logistical haul is nothing. Logistical haul, I mean, that wouldn't be terrible with something else necessarily. Those 2 aren't great. That, however, 61,000 for 5 cars? It's not bad. Not bad at all, but what I'm more interested in, if you remember, earlier, before the last break, I cleared the fees and finally bought the licenses, some of the licenses, which is why I had no money. I've got 87,000 now, which is better than nothing. But yeah, for the first time ever, I can actually go in here. It doesn't look like there's much, which isn't that surprising. In fact, one's an inn, so that's just gonna be shuffling things around. $12,000 ammunition and 32,000. I mean, hell, I can do that, honestly. You know? Why not? I can go straight into harbor, back up into there to drop that off, and then C2I and G2S, of course. Probably drop this off, so back it in, and then pull through, or pull all the way through and back in at G2S. Is that really worth taking? Maybe not, but that's like another $2,200 or $22,000 with the time bonus. It's a little bit more money on the top of everything else, you know? And being back at Harbor in town also means that I'm potentially more likely to find something up to Goods Factory. You can see Goods Factory from, that's Military Harbor here. There's some stuff going up there, at the very least. Also, my voice is not happy at the moment for whatever reason. Hell, maybe I could even get it set up to where I have a job up to Goods Factory and then up to military base from there. Is that a good idea? Maybe not. Over there. But, you know. It's something to consider as a possibility, depending on what's available. I'm just getting zoomed in on this. Because as the bot says, it's time for a break, and by a break, I mean the end of the stream. I like to end the streams on Monday and Wednesday nights at 11 p.m. So this is just my normal wrapping up point. And I don't really have much more to do in this stream, so there's no sense in dragging it out more than necessary, right? But New save there. And, yeah. At the start of the stream, I only had the DH4. Now look where we're at. Love it. Absolutely love it. And you know, in theory, it's gonna be a pain if I grab anything else. But in theory, you can usually find something at City West going to Harbor. So if there's something worthwhile, like the last time I went through there. Possibility. Also, holy shit, I just noticed the weight. 145 tons, 84 tons, 153 tons. Yeah, I could take another 600 tons without even hesitating. Not a problem with what I've got. Versus that back there is 552 tons. That's just why I dropped off. 450 tons there. Those are just drop-offs, though. So, yeah. Anyway, it's gonna say, you want to save? I already saved. I don't need to worry about that. Disable that. And over to here. The game finally closed. Yeah. That's gonna be it for tonight. I'm happy with the progress. I mean, just making another run from Harbor. It wasn't Harbor, it was City West to Machine Factory. I've done it a lot. More so Harbor to Machine Factory, but still, I've done that run a lot in the past week alone. That was the 4th time? Although again, this time it wasn't from Harbor, but close enough. Plus the return trips every time. I haven't done the return trip on this one, but yeah, going elsewhere would be nice. But Goods Factory is my next objective, and when I've got something good to send me back to Harbor, which might send me to Goods Factory, might as well, right? So yeah. You can expect more Derail in a week's time. That's when I'll be playing it again live on stream. We'll see if I can resist not playing it in the next week. Worst comes to worst, I'll probably just take those 3 and take them to Harbor and maybe pick up something in City West if there's something there that's worth taking. Also, I just remembered I didn't set the switch correctly coming out of City West. So I'm going to be careening into the Sea Yard if I'm not careful in the future. Not that big of a deal. I'll most likely check that. But, yeah. I just realized that. I meant to switch it, and I just forgot. Anyway, as for the next stream, it doesn't say what the game is, but it's going to be more in Pokemon on Wednesday. I've been doing a multi-game Archipelago, which is just basically Pokemon Red and Pokemon Emerald randomized, including full item randomization. But the items have been randomized across the games. That's basically the idea with Archipelagos, is that you have multiple games being randomized. Sometimes not even from the same series, which is cool that you can do that. But this one I'm doing exclusively by myself. So it's a solo multi-game Archipelago. And it's going decently. Still need to find those final badges, but I unfortunately need to play Red more than Emerald at this point. I'm sorry. Gen 1 just is not an enjoyable experience in 2025. It's just not. I don't mean to be mean to Red, but even Gen 2 would be better. And plus, Gen 3 is at 60 FPS, don't forget. The only generation thus far, it's not June yet, the only generation thus far to run fully at 60 FPS. But yeah, anyway, that's what I'll be doing on Wednesday. And then Friday, I'm not 100% sure about this. I need to contact EJ tomorrow, probably, and just verify. But The Friday stream is not that one. Friday stream is that one. Most likely, it's not going to be Assetto Corsa. Most likely, we're not planning on doing Assetto this Friday, I should say. Next week, next Friday, the 25th, we will be doing EJLMS at Imola, unfortunately, or other tracks that I'd rather race at. Especially with what we were originally planning. Anyway, this Friday, I believe, will be GTA, and then Saturday will also be GTA. So, yeah, sounds like if I understood what EJ was saying on Friday, which is why I need to get in contact with him, we'll probably be racing on Friday. Thank you for resubscribing, Novaraptor. No, but really, Nova, thank you for that. 2-month streak. Nice. Yeah, the bot's pronunciation, or the pronunciation is occasionally a little off. Edge_saw comes to mind. Yeah, thank you very much for subscribing. For subscribing, being subscribed. Enjoy your emotes, and I'd say you're ad-free viewing, but you've got turbo apparently, so doesn't matter one way or the other. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Thought I heard a dog howling outside, but it might just be one of the local dogs. I don't think it's a wolf or anything. The bot to pronounce Ludicolo. Yeah, no, I understand, Nova. I had Turbo back in the day when it was like $6 a month, but that was like 10 years ago. Let's see. I can actually do that, Evil. Yeah, didn't autocorrect. Good. It says it correctly. Holy shit. No, that's unexpected. It didn't mispronounce it. Yeah, Ludicolo is a good one. Yeah, there's a dog making noise outside. At least it's not a fox. You hear them every now and again around here. Odicolo. That's a way. Yeah, no, it's solid. Might not be the best Pokemon ever, but then again, do you need the best Pokemon ever? No, it's a solid pick. It's just, getting it sometimes can be a bit difficult, but yeah, Mirror B intensifies. I was just thinking, like at some point, I should consider actually playing Coliseum on stream, but then I remembered Coliseum, it's a good game, but it does get a bit repetitive with just basically being peon after peon after peon. Think XD Age is better? I don't have XD is the problem. And I do not have anywhere near enough money to try and pick one up. Pick a copy of it up. I have played it before, but yeah, no. I don't even want to know what a used copy of it goes. Switch 2 is a good way to get it. Yeah, that's right. It's coming. GameCube Virtual Console is going to Switch 2, which is good. Or emulate, yeah. But Nova, I do just I'll just point this out, just for anybody who's listening. The way I go about things is I always do them legally. So the BIOSes that I use must come from my devices, and the game ROMs I use must come from my cartridges or devices. So I like to do things legitimately because then nobody, in realistic terms, can say anything about it. Obviously, Nintendo does as Nintendo does, but I'm going to emulate. Yeah. Well, you don't stream DS or 3DS games? I do from time to time. Rather record off the device. Yeah. I have that ability, kind of. Technically. Sometimes. Look, I mean, if you've watched my streams playing the Pokemon games before, you know how I go about things. But everything is always acquired from my hardware, my own games, own copies of games and such. So that's what matters most. 3DS emulation is always a bit iffy, especially, but I don't know. I recently found another emulator that seems to be doing pretty well for itself. Don't tell Nintendo. But yeah, to loop back, that's what I'll be doing on Monday. Just Red and Emerald instead of DS and 3DS games. I don't know, Evil. I don't know. The whole touchscreen aspect is kind of a big issue. They could have done it with the Wii U, but yeah. I'm gonna wait too, but monetary reasons more than anything. The Wii, at least, the Joy-Cons should be able to sense enough that you can replicate that. But yeah, I don't know. The problem is, just like with Pokemon that have obnoxious evolutions, I can talk. It is Nova. Um, but yeah, just like obnoxious evolution methods, turns out that if you use these weird gimmicks in your consoles that are hard to replicate, especially through emulation, because let's be real, Virtual Console is emulation. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to bring that back, isn't it? DS, 3DS, Wii, and the Wii U. How do you do that? On a PC, it's no problem, but Nintendo doesn't like anything relating to PCs, so. Requires you to close the system at some points? Oh boy. I mean, one of my favorites is the fact that you have to turn the device upside down for evolving Inkay. Oh yeah, sure, let me just go up to my Switch, undock it momentarily, turn it upside down, and do that. I've had to do that live on stream, just as a reminder. I have done that before. Also, this is apparently turned into a just talking stream. I'm good at doing that sometimes. It's been a little while. Stamp on the top screen that you close the system to transfer it to the bottom screen. Oh boy. Okay. That's an interesting concept. An interesting way to go about it. But yeah, that has a minor issue of how the fuck do you do that on any other console? How the fuck do you do that on a 2DS? Immediately, how do you do that on a 2DS? If it's the XL, sure, but the original one? It's a brick. It doesn't fold. Well. That's Yeah. That's the issue. It's a neat mechanic, but it immediately fails on any device that doesn't have a clamshell folding design. By the way, something that popped into my mind. One, Finizen Palafin line. Just how is that going to be done in future generations? But also, how am I supposed to get a Surfetched outside of Galar? It's not been an issue as of yet, but I know Pokemon pretty well, which is why I just keep going back to that as examples for stupid mechanics, but yeah, I mean, NK is doable because the Switch is still a handheld console. If Nintendo had decided, nah, we're just gonna do another home console that doesn't have anything you can turn upside down, which the controllers should, but yeah. Yeah, RB, it's supposed to be ending. Occasionally this happens though where I just get talking with chat and we just go for like an extra 10 or 15 minutes. It happens. Oh well. I should wrap it up though. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind a Switch 2, but if I get a Switch 2, I'd also kind of have to get a an upgraded capture card that can do 1440p, 120 ideally, recording at minimum. If not 4K, because at that point you might as well just go for 4K. Yeah. When was the last time I played through a normal Pokemon game? I don't remember. I have a 144 Hz display, so it does actually matter to me. Not that it's a good display, but never mind that. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I played through a Pokemon game normally, but, you know, randomization. Or, Professor Oak challenges. I guess a Professor Oak challenge is normal enough, right? Brilliant Diamond I did in 2023. Surely I've played something else sooner, more recently than that. I don't know. I do item randos and such. Not a ton, but enough. Yeah, it's been a little while. I'm going to be playing through all of the games here before the release of ZA, ideally. I'm going to be doing a lot of things Pokemon related before the release of ZA, hopefully, but we'll see about that. Overcommitting and underdelivering. I'm good at it. And on that note, I think it's a good time to end the stream. No, but really, I've been sitting here for almost 20 minutes just talking with you guys, and that's fine. I don't mind it, but I do try and end the stream at 11 p.m. or a little before even, and it's almost 10 past. Yeah, that's true, Evil. And you know, none of the Pokemon games, initially at least, are going to support 120 hertz, which that's pretty much all I have. Look, I'm on a limited budget, alright? Anyway, yeah, stream on Wednesday. Pokemon stuff, multi-game, solo, Archipelago. And then Friday, probably. Though I need to confirm this, so I'll know by Wednesday. But Friday and Saturday will be GTA Racing on 5M. Friday will be EJ joining us. I say Saturday will be. I'll be there to host. But it's Easter weekend, so it depends on who shows up. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end the stream now. Want to watch some ads and you're not a sub or a Twitch Turbo user? Stick around and you'll see some ads. If you're either of those two, though, sub or Twitch Turbo user, you shouldn't see ads. You know how Twitch can be, though. But yeah, you shouldn't. But, you know, if you're in that category, then I appreciate you sticking around because, you know, just close the stream after a few minutes. You can leave the tab open for that little bit longer, right? Anyway, do as you wish. It doesn't matter. It's not like ads make me much money because I'm just an affiliate. I don't make a lot of money off of Twitch. Could be worse, though. Anyway, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you next time. Later.